their Chardonnay. The style, though, I mean, they're both surly aged, so they're sitting in the barrel for about 10 months. They stir the lees every month, but only 70% of this was done with a secondary fermentation. So, consequently, before I taste them, they obviously, and you can tell by the deep color on the Danois, this should be a little bit crisper, more of that fresh cut apple. But some of that will be evident in Danois Chardonnay as well, because they really try to stay away from that buttery Chardonnay. And I think the industry is starting to lean in that direction. So, from the nose, yeah, the big tropical fruit right out of the nose on the Gan, and a little warmer sensation in the wine from Danois. Yeah, very creamy and elegant. Got far away from that butteriness. Just a little bit crisper, as creamy, but very similar characteristics. And really, it's a function of the appellation. Location is everything to winemaking. So, two very, very, very different wines when you look at them. A couple of similarities, definitely more in that crisp, fresh apple notice in the nose and in the finish of the wine. Gan family cellars, great buy on this wine. And again, we've got a 1-bottle limit on this because we don't have very much. $24 for this wine. $24. Now, again, I'm going to challenge you. This is an estate wine. This isn't juice that they bought from Uncle Ned. This is juice that they own that vineyard and control it from the ground up. So it's a wine. In fact, that vineyard was planted in 1978, so it's actually some older vines. And it's so estate fruit. From the Russian River. So go to your local store and you show me an appellation-driven Chardonnay that you can buy as a First Sips member anywhere close to $19.20. No way. Bring it in here, I'll buy it from you. But you're never going to find that. Of course, my business partner just rolled in, so he's probably not real happy. And his wife's here, and she's our bookkeeper. So she's probably not real happy if I'm making these deals. But I'm telling you, you're not going to find wines like that in that price point. They're just not available, and we've got them here. The Danois wine, this particular Chardonnay, Didi's Estate, is $45. Wine Club price on that. First Sips members, you get that for $36. $36 on that wine. Now, the last wine tonight is a Chardonnay Très Cuvée from Sonoma Coast. So, those of you not familiar with the regions in California, Sonoma Coast sits, as it should, along the coastal region, but it really goes from the top end of Sonoma County and it runs south all the way down basically to the bay. So this particular vineyard sits about another 5 or 6 miles south of our location, a little closer to the ocean. So the wines from that area, a lot like what we saw in the Kreutz wine. There it is. In the Kreutz wine, because, again, this was south of Monterey, but, again, closer to the ocean. So what happens, for those of you that are not familiar with the area, we get hot days in the summertime in the 80s and maybe into the 90s in some of those regions along the coastal area. But then the fog will roll in around 4 or 5 o'clock and take the temperatures from the high 80s and 90s into the 50s like that. And so, Sonoma Coast Cabernet Sauvignon, too cold. You could, you don't see a lot of it, but you could see a Russian River Cabernet Sauvignon, or certainly a Russian River red wine because it sits a little further inland. Therefore, it does get more sunlight and exposure, in the late afternoon. So, again, this is their Très Cuvée. This is a 2005. Beautiful golden color on this wine. Very, very, very tropical. Completely different than what we had in the Russian River, the Didi's Estate. Much more of a crisp wine. Small production, 297 cases. 100% French oak. 33% of that was new. And again, unlike the last two, there's no creaminess in this. This is really a much, much crisper wine, and much more fruit right up front in this particular wine. Price point on this particular wine is, the Sonoma is $35, $28 for you First Sips members. $28. Believe there's no better value than the wines I've got here. And again, these are all estate wines, so you've got to love that. So, the highlight, to go back, we started out with Kreutz Family Cellars down south of Monterey. A beautiful, clean, fantastic Chardonnay. Then we went up valley a little bit more to the Carneros region for Bonnell. Very little of that wine left. And then we did two Chardonnays from Russian River, Gann Family Cellars in Donau, and then Donau's Très Cuvée, which comes from the Sonoma Coast region. So when you come in to Cellars of Sonoma, we've got 5 different, very different Chardonnays, one for each palate out there, and I think you'll really enjoy them. But I wanted to show you the Chardonnays. It's kind of the last shot on Chardonnay. We're going to really phase in heavy into the reds now, although it's still beautiful here in California. If you're in another place that's really cold, sorry, get on an airplane, come on. Actually, October is a great time to visit Sonoma County. We're in the middle of harvest. There's all kinds of fruit out there. You can get incredible access to these wineries in their full production. So this is a wonderful time to visit. And usually the weather's really good this time of year. Just a little hint for those of you that visit San Francisco, come in October, you'll be surprised. It's much warmer than it is in June and July. So we love the opportunity to show these to you. Those of you that are First Sips members, watch your mailbox. That's all I'm going to tell you. I've got something blow your mind. You're going to love it. Great opportunity. Those of you that haven't visited the Valley in a while, I suggest you think about visiting the first week in November. You're going to find out very soon why. So I'm going to tease you a little bit, but we've got something coming up here that's going to be that no one has done as any collective like what we have. They've never done what we're going to do, and it's going to happen next month. So something very, very cool coming up. So watch the mail and watch email. So we end the same way every time, and Scott Jordan signing off, and this is where you discover wine, one sip at a time, here at Cellars. Thanks for tuning in. Bye for now. There we go. Okay, everyone.